times I adjust things before. Good morning, late evening to everybody. It is WJ here, the Warrior Junior, for another fun-filled educational episode of. I should have called this the no guarantee episode. I call it the Warrior woes. And I just jump right in, right? You know, I hate when people say, life is hard. Like it feels like that monotonous doldrum of going through life. It's just tough surviving, and then all the stresses. My friend Ruben, his dad just passed a couple of days ago, and his dad was in hospice for a little while, but it's just a decline, and he wasn't close to his dad. He's real open about it. And he's going to go back to Akron for his dad's funeral in a couple of weeks. And, it's like he's telling me that his brother's like a successful attorney. And he's like got kids, he's busy and working his ass off. And then this happens. I mean, it's like he's got to do all the preparations and everything. It's like stress on top of stress. It's like you know I hate to sound selfish, but like in using it that way, it's like your life is like for you, and it's like fuck, man, you got to do all this shit, all this, and it's like no guarantees of anything. Um, as I mentioned, I'm pretty open and honest on this channel, about my struggles to try to better my life, and become anything. I'm not far from 50, and it's a really difficult thing when you basically spent your whole life chasing what I call pipe dreams, and I didn't plug into the system of get a job and just, pass time, do a schlep rock job. I've done it, man. I've worked for an hourly pittance wage. I did that shit on and off, for not for a long, long, long time, but long enough to realize it's not who I am. And then I really thought what I could do is, it sounds so stupid, but unless you're successful, you feel like you're stupid. I mean, at least I do anyway. I tried drop shipping. I tried drop shipping from eBay to Amazon. And I wasn't being greedy. I was just, but it's so competitive with other people. Like you're not making any money. Like you buy something and then somebody buys it. You don't buy it. You don't pay for it till they pay for it. You send it to them, and it's like, I was making $1 here, $2 there on a sale. And I said, well, let me up it. Let me sell higher end stuff so I can make a decent profit. There's computers, and somebody scammed me. They basically said they bought this laptop off me for like $1,000, and then my credit card was stolen, so they had to refund the money, and it was a nightmare. I said, well, fuck this. I'm not a big operation where I'm making a lot of money. It was like nothing. And you're not the only one that's trying to drop ship. So it's like, what you're gonna put up $1,000 to make $20, and you sell, like, how many computers sell? Like, one maybe a month or something if you're lucky. It's $20 profit. Like, you're gonna survive on that. And then, talk about living on a fixed income, like on a lows, people that get food stamps, or Social Security. It's like, what is it, $1,000 a month or something? $200 a month welfare? It's not adjusted for inflation of how much gas costs, rent costs, survival. It's really, like these people, they get that. That's it. You can't go ahead. You're basically gonna tread water for the rest of your life, like just barely, if you never made it, and that's the thing that I'm starting to feel that way. not starting. That's I felt that way when I was 30. Like, anyway, this is a lemon ginger tea, the organics brand. It's like a herbal one. The chai spice is kind of strong, I have that. But this is okay too. You know, you are going to be ridiculed by not plugging into the system. I mean, you're going to get crushed by most people's advice because most people they plug into the system and they feel like well they're working hard by putting in years into and then retirement. Like my friend Chris, he knew this guy that drove a bus for 30 years. He has to walk with a cane, because of his foot from pushing that pedal. He's a bus driver in New York. So he gets like retirement, but that's a life, like that was, I can't, that's not me. I tried, I applied to be, I'm open about this. I live in Los Angeles, and I was highly considering moving to Vegas, because of the energy and the cost of living, owning property, that's the main thing was the owning the property. That's like owning your own condo in a good area, that's not one of those slummy, run down ones that I've seen that look like a ghetto apartment with bars on the windows. I see nice, condos, 100,000. Now it's probably 150. You know, and I was willing to sacrifice. I was willing to sacrifice if I could have got like a real good, like a post office job or something, or a teaching job. I said, it would have been worth it. It would have been worth the sacrifice because to own your own property, if you're making good money and you don't gamble, it carries it. It's a big deal. It's not like here in Los Angeles. The chasm is too great where the cost owning your own property, you got to literally be rich. And I was never, well, why didn't you buy when you were younger? I didn't have anything when I was younger. Nobody raised me properly to where, to teach me anything. I didn't understand anything. I didn't really understand anything until a couple of years ago, till I started to see, well, what do these people have? Like the world did not become a little more clearer until I started self-educating myself. And that, unfortunately, I hate to say late bloomer because nothing's bloomed. Bloom means you're successful. Wow, you bloom. I'm not, and I hate that word failure because that really makes you, and to me, like an indigent street cretin or something, like a failure, like a bum or something. And I hate that because, but that's kind of the feeling I get of a social hierarchy of where like where you fit and who are you compared to everybody else. Now, it wouldn't have bothered me much in Vegas, I guess, like if you're doing something because you have a real good plan, a good goal, like if you're making 50, 60, 70 grand a year, rather than any other expenses, just yourself, and you get like a mortgage on a property that's like 100,000 or something like that, a couple of years, like to be paid off, I forget 30-year mortgage. I mean, I get that, but it's an immense step up from being like one of these poor downtrodden's, living in the government housing or county housing, or paying even rent that it's like throwing money in the fireplace. You're just making the landlord richer. Well, I'm surviving. Yeah, surviving is not thriving. I talked to this woman today. She's a little out there. I know her for a long time. Her mom passed just as well, and she's living on food stamps, and she inherited an $800,000 condo, but I guess half of it's in the brothers or something. So I was like, don't you know how to live while you're alive? What the fuck? You talk about you want to come back to Hollywood, sell the fucking place. I told her, I said in Las Vegas you could get an incredible paid off condo, 150,000. It's paid off. HOA fees are like nothing out there. $100, $150. It's like nothing. These people don't think like they want to. They plant. Like they think like this. LA is the end of the world here, and it is nice. I know the weather and everything, but it's nice when you're successful. It's not nice when you are poor. If you're poor, then you're subsiding yourself, to just being a nothing, or worse, catering to these wealthy people. I walk past this. Um, I go to, wherever there's this route that I take, and there's this high-end hair salon, whatever. It's like in this building, and like there's these Mexican guys out there, and they're like these these what do you call it, the valets and stuff. And it's like I could see they open the door. Like, I mean, I couldn't do that. I couldn't. They can, but it's like I sit there and I just say to myself, man, it's like, what do you got to show for your life? A couple dollars tip from, like these people giving you? They're not going to give you nothing. You're just burning time. You're and a lot of time for nothing. My point. So they give you a couple dollars. What's that? The couple dollars doesn't really add up to anything. I'm sorry. Warren Buffett said that. Now maybe a couple dollars in 1940, it adds up, where you could buy some blue chip stocks back then. Back then, not now. Not now. A dollar is not the same as it was in 1940. And that's the problem. These people make it sound like right now I'm having difficulty because I'm used to like my monthly check coming in, and it's not because it's, oh, you had like 30,000 in your account. And listen, 30,000 in over a span of a year is not that much money. They make it sound like it's a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money. It's not. You can't own your own property. You can't do. It's not a lot of money. It just sounds like it is. If you're, to somebody that's really poor, I guess it is. But that's a mindset. I don't know where they come up with that welfare number of 221 a month, and then a couple $100 a month for food. That, that's like below survival. There's no way that's all you can live on like that. Oh, eating out of a garbage can or something. Like walking around collecting cans all day or something. Maybe, but that's not. It's not adjusted for survival in 2021, 2022. I'm sorry. See, I forget. I'm off by years. The whole system is really fucked. And I'm going to give my 2 cents on things that I feel that the way things should work. You know, let's start with like high school. Let's go back there. You graduate high school, and especially I graduated from like community high school, a public high school. The LA USD, doesn't matter which one. It's part of the LA USD. I don't want to say because it doesn't matter. Like I don't want to give them any. I don't like giving anybody credit for anything for no reason. You know, people, businesses, I don't know, they get enough. People that are successful, they got enough. They don't need my endorsement or my sponsorship. So the problem here in life, you walk out, they have a graduation thing. And I'll never forget in 91 when I graduated high school, it was a big Hadoop. It's at the Greek Theater, like full. The place holds, I think, like 5,000 people or something. It's an amphitheater style. And it was like, I never see, it was unbelievable to see that many people, parents and families, show up for a high school graduation. And nobody asked. No, I mean, maybe a student, a teammate asked me, "Where are you going after?" It never occurred to me. Nothing occurred to me. That's where the problem herein lies. It starts at the beginning. These schools need to really help students after they graduate, like in their like senior year of what they're gonna do, like opportunity, a trade, starting your own business. Like it would be great if they groom, if they give you like um, like even military recruiters, job recruiters, like lots of stuff, to go around and have like a symposium, a fair, like career fair, when these students are like 3 months from graduating. Go out there. It's like fuck, like and overwhelm them with opportunity. Like that's the fucking problem. You know, they're so everybody's hiring. They're not. They're not. I don't care what you know how many job applications I put out for like teaching, related with baseball, dance, fitness, and even stuff that I wouldn't do. Yeah, like I put in stuff in Las Vegas for UPS, not delivery. I can't drive, but in post office, working in an office, not one reached out to me. Not one. You don't got any work experience. They ain't gonna tell you what to do. Like you have work experience picking up and moving a package from here to there, or like they showed you in the U.S. postal thing, how to make change for something. Like I did all the diagnostic tests and they never called me, never called me, because everybody wants those jobs, those guaranteed jobs. It's not, they're not handing out opportunity, and that's because it's automation. People are being outsourced, for this thing. They don't need you. And that's part of the downfall of humanity is technology. I mean, part of it, I'm sorry. We've got all these people and no opportunity. What are they all going to do? I mean, it doesn't matter. You have to figure it out on your own. Like work remotely. Okay, work remotely, but doing what? I don't know. I know how to do this. Nobody's everything. Again, I already said all the things that I reached out for, not one. I think, and I already mentioned this. There was like this private Jewish school border or Beverly Hills adjacent. They needed like a phys ed teacher. They're at 30,000 a year. And I sat there and I go, this. I fucking got irate. I was so upset in my mind. I said, unfucking believable. Yeah, Beverly Hills adjacent, $30,000 a year. Wow. Okay, so let me go work there for 30 years, and I still won't be able to afford my own property after working for 30 years. Oh, wow, that's really really inspires me to put in the time and the effort and the energy, and that leads me into the topic of warriors' woes. The time, the energy, the I know it's like I have to like pause for a second because I start to think about how much time and energy I put into working out, bodybuilding, food, supplementation, like everything. And for what? Like really, it's like it's now. I was really hoping that it would be a calling card, to for knowledge for to somehow network my way into the wrestling business, or something like when you're an exceptionally good built human being, like it shows like what you're doing, like it's and I'm not talking just some guy that's like averagely fit, because I see those good dudes all around all the time. They don't really look like anything. I mean, to me, this is like, in my mind, I'm like a couple steps above them. Now the problem is when you don't take juice, you're not on any anabolics, really like any hardcore anabolics, real steroids. You're not going to have that blown up kind of look. And when you're not, you're not going to look this beyond exceptional because the muscles, they're just, they don't blow up like that when you're not on this anything. And I'm not, like I take, I'm not hiding. I take some stuff over the counter. It's like the stuff that, the, what's it, the pro hormones, the SARMs, stuff like that. Um, stuff that's like supposed to have like anabolic properties in there. But even that stuff does not give you there's no, I mean, what Rick Drazen talked about, he was taking some D-ball like back in the 70s. He blew up huge. He could barely fit in his Volkswagen. I've been taking stuff, like on all different stuff on and off. I never blew up. I never. But I get my weight. It levels off. It doesn't go up. I'm in like the low to mid 180s, and it's like it's very, very, very hard for me to eat every second. Like it's just a lot to get nothing. I mean, like your whole life is going to be the gym and obsessing about trying to get big for what? For it doesn't matter. Like for me, like I'm not like a professional bodybuilder. So again, so I don't take the gear, so that's out of the equation. So what are you putting in all this time working out? And then that's the problem. It's like you sit there like this warrior's woes and thinking. Let me give you an example. Like I went to the park a couple hours ago. I know it's like almost 4 in the morning, but I went a couple hours ago, just because I'm sitting around. I said, let me at least do something, like some ab work, something. And it was windy out there. It was cold. Like nobody out there, but I'm out there, and I'm thinking, wow, the real warriors doing the work, like when nobody else is. I'm thinking, for what? For what? Now later today, it's the wrestling school again, and last episode, if you listen to it, you will hear my most passionate, openness, about this woman that I see there, and I don't want to rehash everything that I said yesterday because you know it's because it's like depressing to me. It's everybody has their ultimate dream, in this life, and you think like if you walk through hell, there'd be like the pot of gold at the end, the light at the end of the tunnel, like Andy Dufresne, like climbed through the 500 yards of the foulest. It's like he chiseled for decades to get through, and then finally when he gets through, he has to climb through. It's not just he's free. He had to go through 500 yards of the most foulest smelling, so he it's like difficult on top of it. And then finally, like when he fell out of that sewer, it was raining, like they did that intentionally, to clean him up after what he went through, the drama of the movie, that he was free, he puts his hands up like he's free. And then he goes on that beach, like the boat thing, there's nobody around until Red shows up. But it's so well done. But the point is, jail can be whatever you make it. You could be literally free, but be imprisoned by society, by your job, by your, lifestyle, by your living in a location. It's that jail is relative, and that chiseling thing, like that he did for decades. And I sit there and I say to myself, like, my God, like, that's what's going to take to get a woman like that? Am I going to have to, like, chisel for decades? I'm almost 50 years old, man. I don't have decades left. What am I going to be, 70 years old? Like chiseling and then like trying to get this beautiful woman that's 25. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm already too old. I mean, people say you're not that old. Yeah, well, anybody that says that, they're older than me, and they are old. I'm sorry. People got to stop being so nice and start being honest and being direct. Like, but and I know they don't want to offend you or hurt your feelings. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I know we're not robots, but your feelings doesn't fucking matter. I mean, I'm really sorry to say. What matters is building a life. That's all that matters, or figuring out what doesn't work. Somebody gonna chisel in the wrong direction their whole life because and everybody sees they're going the wrong way, but nobody wants to say anything because like they don't want to hurt that guy's feelings or kill his dream. Meanwhile, like I just this story, his book Acres of Diamonds. Look it up. I don't know if it's a true story, but again, I don't need to repeat the story. Look up Acres of Diamonds. What happened to that guy? I live in a borderline affluent area, but I am not affluent. I'm in like an anomaly, in a crevice of it, and the people that talk to you, well, you're really lucky to live. I'm not. I'm not. Okay, when you got nothing, it doesn't matter. They compare themselves to these people living in tents in Skid Row, telling me how lucky I am. That's no comparison of nothing. Then I could make the analogy, what about the people with the mansions up in the Hollywood Hills that I could see as I'm going to my gym every day? I want to compare to them, instead of comparing the people living in Skid Row. I'm nothing, but comparing doesn't mean anything. A lot of these people that made it, I mean, nobody really talks about this. You hear about the anomalies of people that made it from nothing. They're anomalies. There's plenty of people, but there's plenty. There's millions upon millions, hundreds of millions that never made it. If there's plenty that have, it's so few, it's ridiculous. It's so few. You know how many people are the dream to be in the NFL, basketball, baseball, or be pro wrestlers or whatever? How many made it? How many people have made it to like WWE? Let alone become a superstar, make some real money. How many? The couple. Not two, but you know what I mean. There's like, and how many people watch that shit? Millions. It's worth it's a $5 billion company for a reason. Not because nobody watches. I told you, I talked about that small wrestling event I went to on over the weekend, Sunday. Sorry, excuse me. The Ultimate Warrior goes, I woke up, people say this rich, successful people have a lucky charm or something. I woke up, I couldn't find my lucky charm. I understand that. But if you go back far enough, the guy had great genetic predisposition, 6'5" or 6'4", I mean 6'3", whatever. He's jacked. And that's what was needed at the time with that character. How many people could do that? No one. I know there's other one, Macho Man. There's a handful. There's one Daniel Bryan, okay? I listened to his audiobook. I didn't care for the guy anyway. Guy with giant beard, the Seattle-ish grunge look. And, he had a following. Yes. I stopped watching. I just had to see who the fuck is this guy. He's not a nothing. But WWE, they're master manipulators of psychology and understanding. It's like, well, we can push this guy and we'll somehow make him look good. That's all it is. Now I know he wrestled for years in armories or Ring of Honor, like real low kind of things. But there's no guarantee. It's no guarantee. Okay? I danced on 30 years on and off. There's no guarantees. I saw, I was watching over my friend Ruben's, I saw this Men in Black International. Like one with a Chris Hemsworth and the black chick who's cute. I don't know what her name is, and it doesn't matter. But there's like this dancing, and I said, these guys, I said, that's the Les twins, I know. And at the credits, it was them. There's no dialogue with them in it, but it was them. And I wrote a movie for ideas for them to be in it. It doesn't matter. I never reached out to them because I try to reach out to J-Lo. I try to reach out to anybody powerful to listen to trying to hear my idea of what my script, and it broke my spirit. Everybody I try to reach out to, Canon Films, nobody would listen to me. Nobody would entertain my idea. Any of them, nothing. Why reach out to talent if nobody would fucking, they don't have money. They're actors, they're performers. They're not filmmakers. Can't have access to studio money, budget, nothing. Write a whole script, a beautiful story. Nobody would listen to you. I'm not gonna harp on that for any longer, but I'm just telling you, you could do things that you think that, put everything you got into something and it goes nowhere. It goes nowhere. That bar, I'd hang out there. I told you, I went there. Well, they had a DJ on the weekend, so I do my dancing. But that manager chick, I had the hots for her. And after 8 months, one time, she I guess she was a little drunk. She kissed me, gave me her number. I thought God, all my perseverance as being a good guy, going there all the time and her kind of getting to know me. I thought my fantasy dream would come true. It's innocent. Listen, there's nothing wrong with you liking a woman. But society ridicules you and punishes you, if you're not a normal, they show you in these movies, or you're not, I don't know. You look at something, everybody looks at you like you're a weirdo. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't care what anybody's thinking. I mean, I go to this gym, it's all gays in there, and they all basically have the same man. They're all on the phone, all looking around at people, they're not there to work out. And what sucks is that there's nowhere else I don't know where to go. It's just there's no other places that are anywhere remotely close. My friend goes, go to a powerhouse gym. It's 25 miles away from me. It's so counterproductive for me to schlep 25 miles to go to a gym to go work out. I work out so much, it would be ridiculous. I'd spend more time traveling for nothing. By the time I get away, when are you going to eat? It's nonsense. What's the point of going to Gold's Gym Venice? Why? There's a bodybuilder, the bodybuilder, you go wherever is most convenient for you to go do your workout. You don't have to go. It's not. They say the mecca of bodybuilding. It's not. It used to be. It's not. I don't want to talk about the gym or anything. I can't. You could not believe how much time I put in, and it's not just the time; it's the energy. The energy. Oh my God, man! And here I'm getting the same premonition. I'm getting the same premonition that this is what it is with this KnockX Pro. There's this wrestling unknown minor league, not even minor league. I don't know what it is. There's nothing. At least like a minor league baseball game, like there's scouts there. There's a big crowd, like fair depending on the city, like where it is. If you've got a baseball team in a city where there's no baseball and there's fans, it's a fair performance. It's a good big crowd. Like could be 5,000 people. I don't know. Fresno or wherever, Chattanooga or whatever, the minor league teams that people that go there to support. But this wrestling thing is like, I'm trying to. There were 200 people that showed up for this thing. I mean that I think I'm being kind of fair. Like it wasn't that many. I'm gonna ask Rikishi later today. How many people showed up? What was the take? Not how much. What was the take? How much money do you make? No, how many people showed up? So I just, you know what it is. It's I don't want the same usual thing happening that I've gone through time and time again. I don't want to have my heart broken. I don't want to put in all this time into something that goes nowhere. It's like I've seen it all, like I really have, where you could put in so much and get nothing. Like it really is. It's an amazing reality. It's not like what they make it seem like, wow, perseverance, and then you get it, like you get no. In the movies, they tell you this. The motivational videos tell you, just to try to, the Les Browns out there, the guy, he goes, I slept on the floor in the building, and I asked myself, can you do this? Labeled mentally retarded. He's one guy. It's one. There's no, and the only reason is because he made like big money. You never hear of somebody that try to persevere, never made it, because the vast majority don't. The vast majority don't. They don't even try because there's nothing to try. There's no because there's no route that shows you that if you do all of this, you're guaranteed this. It's not like going to college where you take all the classes, they give you the degree. There's no roadmap. There's no guarantee of whatever perseverance that you're putting in the real world that it's going to lead anywhere. It's not. My professional baseball contract is more than a piece of paper. symbolizes everything, everything, what I went through just to get that. I didn't even get to suit up, fly to Brockton, or play. What I fucking went through, it took me to 31 years old. 31 to sign a professional baseball contract for one day. I put in from 13 to 20 years old, in high school, practicing every fucking day. Then all in college, at Valley College, where I went through, and all those camps and all going to parks by myself for years, throughout 10 years. 10 fucking years, man. Just about every day. And then when I was a kid, so you're talking maybe 17 years. Well, let me think. 13 to 31 is 18 years. 18 years to get a piece of paper for one day as a professional baseball player. And I didn't even get to go to the team. 18 years, man. With some spaces in between, because I tried to get in the pool. I started dancing. But it was an insane amount of ridiculousness of time and energy for that. I don't have another 18 years. At 50, we're going to get into wrestling. I'm at 68 years old. You're being just retarded. So I'm over. It's old already. I played chess for also, I got into that, in my after pool. I stopped playing pool in 08, I think I was. I was in my mid-30s, 34 something to 44, and then somewhere around there. And I tied in a national championship in a 10-minute thing. Over 10 years I put in for tournament play, 150 tournaments to tie in an intermediate division. No trophy, no certificate, nothing. $150 cash. The highlight of all my years of putting in nothing. So that's my point. You could put in so much and get nothing. Or the national champion. Tell people that are neat, that don't know, that it's not a big deal. You tell any chess player that really knows tournaments, it's nothing. Into 1,500 is nothing. It's just my mind is on the future. As Wayne Dyer said, don't focus on the wake, focus going forward. And I'm gonna. God, part of me just doesn't want to show up later today. Doesn't want to go because I just see the same thing happening again. You're gonna get crushed twice. You're gonna get crushed twice. Is what's going on in my mind. That woman is not. You're living you're dreaming that you're gonna get a woman like that, and you're dreaming that all the time that you're gonna put in trying to help people and being involved in this wrestling business, that it's gonna lead somewhere. That's what I think. I think that it's just going to be another lesson for me, and I tell you, man, it's I don't think I could handle another, it's just too much, it's like, what's the point? Like, the same old story all over again, all over again. Nothing to show for it, no hope and dreaming. I hate that. I hate when women like that you're so attracted to come up and hug you, like it goes nowhere. Like it's like the biggest tease of all, like making you like you're some gay friend or something. It's like the worst. It's better that they just hurt your feelings. They won't though, because they sympathize you with that way. But you're not gonna have them. Like well, how do other guys do it? I don't know. I don't know. They come from money. They're successful. They got a great look. They're young. They got something really to offer. I'm not. Like I was very just a guy that chased his dreams. It does anything. So it's just there's a price to pay for that. Like it's that's what it is. You know. Like that's why it's not even worth talking to anybody. Like they're not going to guide you. They're not. You're just you know I'm babbling, babbling. Man. I said that I made catastrophic errors in my life. That's why I'm in the situation I am. I never did. I never had like life changing money that I blew. What I consider life changing money. I would say like 100,000. I mean, that's enough. Close to buy that condo in Vegas. I never had it, and it was never close. I was never close. I never had like 75, or it was never in a position to where, you know, all right, like this, you've got all this, and now you got the tool, do something. It was never an opportunity like, a mortgage, be approved for like a 30-year mortgage for 100,000. I called the loan guys and I would ask them, I go, okay, I want to get a loan, like $100,000 condo, 30-year mortgage. So I said, what? How much is that a month? It's like nothing, and they wouldn't give it to me. They're like, well, you gotta have years of documented income and proof of this and proof of that. I go, dude, I get a guaranteed check every month. What do you need? I can make the payments. What are you talking about here? I had like 20,000 down. They made, none of them would approve me. They were telling me go for trying to get a hard loan or something. And I tried. It was like absolutely nobody would. It sounds absolutely ridiculous to me. And if you don't make the payments, they take the property from me. How do they lose? Well, they don't want the hassle of it. Yeah, but you know what? It just like kills my dream. Like that's what it is. It all kills your dream. When you apply for all these jobs, teaching jobs, and they don't hire you, it just kills your dream. You know? And I'm talking about just a job. I'm not talking about, being a professional baseball player, or wrestler, or something like that. That's, there's a lot of luck in that. The guy that I go to the school, his cousin is Roman Reigns. I mean, I know. Guy's really good looking, tall, 6'4", something like that. I get it. You have to fit a mold of something that they need. And I'm not it, like for every reason under the sun. And it's just amazing that, I try to network with people to somehow be involved in the business somehow, and nobody, would give me a chance. In baseball, I applied as an assistant coach in Arizona with like the Reds. They have their farm systems in Arizona, and they wrote me back. They said, thank you, but we have somebody that's, we want somebody else. It's like it's never any opportunity for anything. I applied for an assistant teaching job at a community college in Las Vegas with my resume being on 5 TV shows as an individual dancer, semi-finalist on 2 shows, me feature, just me. And I have an EDS degree, educational specialist degree, master's degree in phys ed, sports administration, bachelor degree. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's amazing. This all breaks my spirit. It breaks my spirit that you try so hard. And my friend doesn't get it. He goes, you got all these degrees. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get it, you know? They don't mean nothing. They're nothing. Nothing of nothing is nothing. It's nothing. And that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. I know. I could just tell you. I could show up at this school 2 days a week, go to stand there and do all this kind of shit. And you're never going to get the girl. You're never going to work your way into business. You're never going to get a good one, like a promotion, a chance to like work your way up there. It's not going to happen. I know. I'm not putting that out in the universe. I'm just telling you the reality of the way it works. I don't know how other people do it. I don't know. Maybe they were young, or they're connected. They had family. There's something. There was a niche market. There was an opening at a time. I don't know how. I don't know. They put in decades, but they started decades ago. I hate to say it, but like, there's a time. It's just too late for many things. It really is. Nobody wants to tell you the real truth. They don't want to tell you the real truth, but the reality is the reality. I'm not making it up. I hate to like quit on such a note like this, I'm gonna say it one last time. I'm not gonna go down the road of disappointment again. I'm not gonna do it. I can't. Like it went nowhere and it imploded on me. I can't. I'm such a guy that is so resilient and perseverant, like in a good way. I'm not a dangerous man or something. And that woman, she made me out, like the bartender, the manager, she made me out to be some creep because I stepped up to the plate. Like finally, I went there, like I didn't know, like she puts. Oh, I worked at a treatment place, and I showed up there on a Saturday during the day, like, and just to tell her, like, how proud I was of her. I was interested. And the second she saw me, it was like, like it was over. And she writes a post on the social media. How dare you show up at my work? A man that really cares would. That's all she had to tell me there was no, like be direct with me, but no. He like suckered me in as somebody like a guy that, just so I can spend more money. It's a ploy. They don't want to hurt your feelings. What's worse is leading somebody on. 1,000,000 times worse. They don't know what it's like to get nothing. They don't know. How can women relate to that when these guys, they want to fuck them? They don't understand. You don't tease or tempt somebody and give them false hope if you're not interested. You don't want to hurt their feelings. You have to be kind of honest with them and say, look, I'm sorry, I'm just not. It's better to tell them honestly. That way they can, move on. You don't, give somebody hope. Lead them on, and until they, like with a guy like me that I already talked about the shyness thing. That's why I started this whole channel. I have a friend. I don't want to say his name, but he's. I don't know exactly what he's doing, but he's like paying, on one of these sites, one of these chicks that he's never met before for like 3 years apparently. He goes, she's got me by the balls. He goes, well, he thinks he's going to get to fuck her. He's never going to. He's never going to. He's been suckered in like I was. not through this type of medium, not through this type of channel thing, but I was suckered in person over time. Not really the money thing, but over time, by her not telling me. Like it was just a God, man, it was awful. It was awful. Like it's worse than I don't know. It's worse being in a relationship, being hardcore. I don't know. It all sucks. It all sucks to invest in something, in a person, that you're so interested in them, just to lie to you or manipulate you or something. It's really bad, and it makes it seem like that. This manipulation that it's the time. The money thing, I mean, it depends. Somebody gets really burned for a lot of money. That I know that hurts too. But the time you can't get back. The energy, the expended, it's gone. Like you put in so much for nothing. And I'm not gonna do that this time. I'm not gonna do that. So I have to right course of action is. I have to really think about this. And I gotta make like some really hard, quick, smart decisions and see, okay, well, this woman, it's not gonna happen. Let's cut this thing off like a cancer. Let's forget about going to school then, forget about that place and her, and let's move on. Which is fine. If you can't see it developing very quick, like there's no real core there. It's not going to go. Don't try to create something that's not going to happen. It's not worth it. It's not worth the time. I've seen older people too that burn out the last year. It's so stupid. Don't do it. Don't waste valuable time digging in a mine where there's no gold. And don't fool yourself. Like that it's not there. Your gut will tell you, or because there's somewhere else that there's probably a better chance to strike something. Don't waste the valuable time. Don't go through like what I did. It's awful. And I know a place of work, it's not like a bar. I know that. But the same premise applies. It has to. Because a woman doesn't want to hurt your feelings, they don't want to pretend they kind of like you, but they're not going to give it up. And one of the reasons that I can kind of already sense I'm digging in the wrong mine is because for two reasons. I'm going to conclude with this. First, as far as the business goes, the Rikishi did not ask me to help out, like can you do anything? Like they didn't come up to me, ask me like to be part of anything, not perform, but work anything. That's red flag number one. Red flag number two is, a couple things. I gave the chick my card. She has not contacted me yet. That shows no interest, you know? That's red flag number two. So I'm looking at this at a linear way, like of saying, hey, this is not developing. Give it time. Don't give it too much time. I mean, I'm serious. I did the same thing at the bar thing where they give it time, maybe a year and a half, whatever, maybe more. It didn't matter how much time. It didn't matter. Friend Ruben told me, play slow. You're trying to work it slow. I thought the same thing in the bar. I thought the same thing. I was playing it slow. She gets to know you kind of thing. It didn't matter. And I know it's not the same, but it is the same. Unless proven otherwise. You know, we're really just, it seems like I got no value. Like I have no value. Be like a great guy, good heart, good person, and it doesn't mean nothing. You're not a provider, you're not a successful man, you're not good looking, tall, whatever, successful, whatever. It just breaks my spirit sometimes. That's why I call this Warriors Woes, this episode. Anyway, I'm gonna make some meat and lay down, and I will let you guys know what happens. Sorry to end this on such a sour note, but it's honesty. It's honesty. That's what's important. Being honest.